Hi guys, today I'm going to show you a few ways that you can use digital stamps to create your own filler cards for December daily. So for this card I'm starting with a 4x6 canvas in Photoshop, and I'm just dragging out a guideline because I'm going to use the circle marquee tool to drag out a couple of circles, and I just want a starting point for where they're going to go. So I'm starting them at the top, and then I'm just adding a stroke to them by going edit stroke, and I'm just adding a 5-point black stroke to that to create a couple of sort of swag lines. And now I'm going to use one of the digital stamps from Kellie Stamps from the No Peeking set. I'm going to use the Christmas light, so you can see where I'm going here. I'm going to create my own little string of Christmas lights. So I'm just using the transform tool to resize the stamp until it's the right size. And then I'm going to duplicate that layer and then use the transform tool again just to rotate it a little bit. So I want each of the little stamped lights to be in a slightly different place and a slightly different angle, just to make them look a little bit more real. So I'm just going to repeat that process until my entire string of lights is filled up. So I'm just selecting the layer in the layer palette, duplicating that, and then transforming that particular stamp to turn it around to fit it onto the string of lights. So I just have to repeat that process a fair few times to fill up the entire string. And then once that's all done, I'm going to select all of those layers and flatten them, because I'm going to then digitally color these little lights in. You could totally print it as is, but I wanted to color them digitally. If you printed it in black and white, you could then maybe use watercolors or colored pencils to color them in, or you can do what I'm doing, which is just to pick some colors in your color palette and then use the paint bucket tool to fill in all the lights. I'm going to use these 3 colors to create my color palette for all of these cards, so I'm going to refer back to that one several times. I've started another 3x4 canvas, and I'm again using the circle marquee tool to create a wee filled in teal circle at the top, and I'm going to pop a stamp on top of that. So I'm again using the No Peeking set, and this time I'm going to place the candy cane, and I'm just resizing that so that it fits on top of the circle that I've already placed. And I'm just going to flip that round because I like it the other way too. I'm going to add a couple more stamps from the same set. I'm going to add the filled in December, and then I'm also going to add memories underneath that. So I was going to say December memories. I just want to select both of those and align them to the center and then merge them together, because I'm going to double click that layer, hit color overlay, and create them in the same teal color that the circle was. And then I can just move those up to sit under the circle, and then I'm going to add a couple more stamps on top. So there's also an outline of both of those, and I'm going to add that in, and I'm going to leave those in black, but just offset them slightly from the filled in versions. It just gives it a bit more depth. For my next card, I've already created a background of diagonal pink stripes. And then I'm just picking that color pink again so that I can use my circle marquee tool to create a fairly large circle on this 3x4 canvas. I'm going to move that selection down to the bottom, and then on a new layer I'm going to fill it in white and then give it a stroke in the same pink color. So I'm choosing a slightly smaller stroke, 3 points this time, just to make sure that that white circle has a bit of an outline to it. Then I'm going to add my Grinch face stamp. So I'm going to add the JPEG this time, and I'm selecting the actual font of Grinch face, and then I'm going edit, define brush. So I've actually made my own brush that says Grinch face. And then on a new layer I can just click that once in the pink and it will say Grinch face. And then the reason I've done it like this is so that I can then use my white paint bucket tool to fill in all the insides of the Grinch face stamp. And once that's done, I can just zoom back out and put those layers back on and you can see what it looks like, I'm just going to add one more little line to this card. I think I'm just going to pick a paintbrush that's the same size as the stroke that I created, and in pink just draw a straight line up from the circle to the Grinch face title. On this new 4x6, I'm going to place another stamp, so I'm going to place another one of the no peeking stamps. Just going to rotate that so it's the angle that I want it to be, and then I'm going to repeat the same process as before. I'm going to select that text and define brush preset. Then I can delete that layer and use my paintbrush tool. I'm just going to go back and pick that same teal but a slightly darker version, and then select that paintbrush that I just created and go ahead and click my little heart out all over this card until I have a repeat pattern. And then once that card is all filled up with that pattern, you could totally leave it as is, but I'm just going to select an area that's slightly larger than 2x3, so that I'm thinking what I might be able to put in there is like a sprocket or an Instax photo. So I just filled that in with white, so there's a white space to put those photos. Now this 3x4 is going to be super simple. I am literally just placing one of the little Christmas tree stamps from the Dear Center set. I'm going to resize that so it's pretty small, and then I'm going to double click that layer and recolor it so it's that same dark teal color. And then I'm just going to move it somewhat towards the center at the bottom, and then I'm going to duplicate that layer so I've got 5 little Christmas trees along the bottom. And then I can select all of those layers and just center them into the page. Now for my last 3x4 card, I want the same 2 colors I had from the start, so I've just selected them from that first card I made, and then I'm going to create a gradient across the card. And then all I'm going to do is simply place the Jolly stamp from Dear Santa set, and then resize that considerably so it fills up the whole card from sort of left to right. And I am going to tilt it just a little bit because I like the look of it on an angle. Just place it where I want to, and then I'm going to again change the color so that it is white. And that is that card all done. You can see how easy it is to use these digital stamps to create a multitude of cards that are perfect for your photos, your style, your colors, exactly how you want them. If you want a few more ideas on how to use digital stamps, don't forget to check out my digital stamp documenting class over at Big Picture Classes. I'll leave the link down below. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!